Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar. It's so nice to see you all. We're going to give a few minutes for everyone to keep jumping in, and I'm going to start sharing my screen. But as you guys come in, feel free to jump into the chat and let us know where you're joining from, how your day is going, what kind of coffee you grabbed. Or if you'd like, we also have a question of the day. So our question of the day for today is, what is one word that you would use to describe your hopes for 2025? I put this
Ooh.
question originally, and then when I was looking at it again today, I was like, that is kind of a deep question that I don't feel like I even know the answer for. I'm not usually one of those people who does like a word of the year because it's a little much, like a little intimidating, I feel like, to choose a word for the whole year. But if you guys have one, would love to hear it. Drew, do you happen to have a word that you know that would kind of describe
I
for 2025?
I don't, but one word that comes to mind is just consistency. So,
Mm,
like with some of the New Year's resolutions, losing weight, going to the gym
yeah,
more. So, I think just
yeah,
consistency came to mind.
I
But if
love
you
that.
guys could let us know where you're from and yeah, what's the word
Yeah,
for your
you guys
hopes
have
for
some great words.
2025?
I saw clarity, refreshing, reconnect.
Ooh,
Um,
like that.
I also love, for myself, I was thinking about focus. Actually, I literally, as I said that, I saw someone write in focused. That's really cool. I love focus as a word for the year and like being able to focus on where I am at the time. I feel that expression of like be where your feet are, but be fully,
Mm,
focused on what you're doing at the same time. Sabbath, partnership, completion. I love it.
someone wrote peace. Love that.
Nice. So cool. Cold. LOL. That's so funny. Okay, well, thank you guys for sharing. I know we're a few minutes in. We might have some more people joining as we go, but I will go ahead and get us started. But please keep sharing your words as you think of them. That's really fun to see. We'll do some introductions here in a second, but just wanted to welcome you guys to our webinar for today. Drew and I are both from the customer experience team here at Tithely, and our goal in CX is to be by your side and for your growth. And hopefully this webinar is a way that you will feel that. We are hoping to partner with you during this time together, make sure that you feel fully prepared for your tax statement season, and hopefully get to interact with you guys some, answer some questions, and make sure that you know where to go to find the resources that you guys are needing. So with that being said, my name is Bethany. I'm one of your hosts for today. I am a CX team lead here at Tithely. Also, by the way, I know you guys jumped on here for a Breeze webinar. Most of you are probably familiar that Breeze and Tithely are a beautiful family together. And so as I say Tithely or Breeze, it's kind of all one and the same big family. But Drew, I'll let you go ahead and do a quick intro.
My name is Drew. I've been with the Bree side of things for the last 3 years. And yeah, I'm one of the senior advocates here. So you guys have probably seen my name if you've written in and asked any questions, but we're excited to be here.
Nice. We are in for a treat having Drew with us today. He is such a rock star when it comes to Breeze and tax statements. And so I'm really glad to have him with us. Quick look at our product suite, like I kind of touched on before. We are here for our Breeze Tax Statements webinar, but you may obviously see some Tithely branding going around with all of this. We are part of the same family. If you're ever interested in exploring any other products that you have available to you within our Tithely and Breeze product suite, please let us know. We would love to make sure that we help you find the solutions that are going to help you guys do your work better. Quick housekeeping things. As we get started into our actual webinar content here, if you have questions throughout this webinar, please make sure to use that Q&A box that you will see on your Zoom screen. Actually, I can't see it on mine, but it is there. Okay, great. Just making sure.
Yes.
Use that Q&A box to put in any questions. That will help us make sure that we don't lose those questions in the chat, and we can answer them directly as we go through. And I will both kind of be working to answer that Q&A as we go. And we'll have a dedicated Q&A time at the end. So if you have questions, put them there, and then that way we can make sure to get to as many of them as we can. Also, this webinar is being recorded and will be emailed to you after, so no need to remember everything. Feel free to, take notes or just sit back and relax, whatever works best for you. I did see a quick question. Yes, all of you as attendees are muted, so no worries. Feel free to be talking to your dog or making a smoothie or anything that you need to do. As webinar attendees, you can enjoy. It is just audio for us as presenters. But yeah, with that being said, I'll go ahead and get us started. So when I think about Breeze tax statements, these are the 3 steps that we're going to break down to get you to a successful tax statement season. So step 1 is ensuring that your data is ready for your giving statements. Step 2 is generating those statements using statement templates and customization. And then step 3 is actually sending those statements. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through a little bit of an overview of each of these steps through our slides. And then Drew's going to take over after that and do a live demonstration within a demo account for how to do each of those things. So no worries if you're kind of just following along at the beginning. We'll actually break that down in the demo afterwards. But like I said, step 1 is ensuring that your data is ready for giving statements. So there's a few things that this can entail. One is assuring that all of your giving transactions for the year are entered into Breeze. So this may apply, like maybe you do admin batch giving to log your cash and checks. Make sure that any of those from 2024 are put in, they have the correct dates. Maybe you've switched to Breeze throughout the year and you have some transactions from another platform that you want to all be sent together through Breeze, getting those imported ahead of time. And then the last piece of this is that as you guys are watching this webinar today, this January 14th, we recommend actually holding off until the 15th to generate your statements, just to give all of the time for any statements at the very end of 2024 to fully process and be accurately reflected. So that is kind of step 1 as far as the transactions go. Step 2, assure that any of your identified members are archived and their giving transactions are moved if needed. And then part 3 of this is going to be assuring that all of your giving transactions are associated with people profiles. So some of you guys may have been working on some of this already, but if not, definitely worth making sure you take a look at your data before you start sending your statements. Drew, anything else that you want to add here before we move on? I know you'll kind of walk through a little bit of this later too.
Really, the association part is just to make sure. I've seen some churches where they never check the association tab. And so by the end of the year, they have about 300 or 400 associations that they need to associate. So one of the best things to do is every month, go in there and just make sure everything is associated so everybody gets credit for their statements.
Nice. Okay, great. Okay, so that brings us to our next step for success, generating the statements. So there's a few different ways that you can go about doing this. The first one that we'll look at is if you are doing year-end statements for all of your givers at once. So you're going to do this by going to giving and then statements. From there, you can choose if you're going to print or email, select your date range, decide whether to group by family. All of this is going to be pretty simple. It's going to walk you through all of those steps as you do it. You'll preview the statement, and then each member will receive their own statement, even though you're doing them for all of the members at once. So that's a little bit of an overview of how you'll do that for all givers. Conversely, you could do it for one donor at a time if you would like. So maybe you emailed them all already, but someone comes to you a week later and they just need theirs again. You can just spin that up for one donor at a time. You would go to their profile within People and then Giving, select your date range. Again, decide whether to group by family, choose to print or email, preview, and you're good to go. The last kind of version of this is if you need more specific parameters than either of those options that we just mentioned. So you're not sending them to literally everyone, but it's not just one person, somewhere in between. You can do that within the reports area to set your specific filters depending on who you're wanting to send them to. So that would be under giving and then reports. Set up all your filters for those complex statements. Choose to print or email. Again, decide whether to group by family and then preview your statement. And then you're good to go. In each of those scenarios, when you get to the preview statement area is where you will see the statement templates and customization options. So just a few things to note. Again, Drew will kind of show what this looks like when he gets to the demo. But we do have some available templates that you'll see there that are built into the system that you can just plug and use as you would like. You can see them listed here on the screen. We've got minimalist, standard, kitchen sink. We've got some that are made for window envelopes, and then some that are going to come with a cover letter. Within each of these templates, once you select it, you can also edit that template further to make sure that it's what you're needing or any other personalization. And so the way that you'll do that is when you're composing the message of emailing your statement and you're in that preview, you can then customize it from there and then make any changes that you'd like. You can then either save that template or replace it, create a new template, whatever the case may be. So take a quick pause and check in with Drew. Do you have anything else to add before we kind of move on as far as the generating or the templates or all of that?
No, I think when I do the live demo, yeah, it'll be more
Okay.
self-explanatory because I'm pretty sure right now a lot of people have questions like, where's this, where's that?
Yes.
And so the demo will help.
Perfect. Okay, great. Well, let me wrap up then with this last little bit of our overview portion, which is sending the statements. It's pretty straightforward. You'll just choose when you're going through that process, whether you want to send them via email or print. If you choose to send them via email, they will go to all donors at the same time, but each giver is only going to receive their statement. Or if you send via print, a cool option that you have is to maybe print only for those who don't have an email address. So maybe you're sending them via email to everyone with an email and just printing those who don't have an email address, or you can print all of them if you would like, whatever works best for your church and your processes. So like I said, I know that's quite a bit of information. Thank you guys for hanging on through all of that, but I know it will really help everyone process all of that to kind of see what all of that looks like in practice. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Drew to walk us through our live demo.
Awesome. Let me, and hopefully you guys can see the screen. There you go. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So let me jump right back out. I'm in my demo account. I'm going to go over to giving. And we're going to come over to statements. Actually, one of the questions was about associations. I saw one of the questions in there. So let me show you that first, because you do want to make sure everything is set up ready to go. So if you click on giving and click on online giving, you're going to see a tab on this side that says associations. And any donations that come in that maybe are not matching what's on the profile will be here. And then all it's going to ask you is to make sure, John Doe is John Doe in Breeze. Once you connect those, the giving that came in will be associated with that profile. And so just like I mentioned before, I would recommend checking this area here at least once a month to make sure any donations that come in, that the right people are getting credit. So let's come over to statements. We're going to click on giving. We're going to come over to statements, and then you're going to have two options. You're going to be able to either print or email, depending on your church. There's some churches that they just print and hand those out or mail them out. And then there's others that send out the emails, and then whoever doesn't have an email, you would print it. So let me show you how to do the print section of it. You're going to click on print. The dates are automatically, they automatically default to whatever the dates are currently. So you want to make sure you select the correct dates. I see a lot of tickets come in when people are running these statements and they're panicking because it's like, I don't see any donations coming in or on my statements. And usually it's because of the dates. And so you want to make sure that is set up. Once that's set up, you're going to have the option to either group by family, include children, or exclude the children. And then if you click on this pencil icon here, this is going to be your template. And so you could customize this as much as you want. You could add a lot of the information you want. I see some churches sort of have a few paragraphs just thanking the donors for what they've given throughout the year. And then let me show you how this would look. If you click on these three little buttons here and come over to templates, you'll have a number of templates that you could use. You could if you want to go real simple, you could, let me make sure this is actually saved. I'm going to save this as a new template. And there's a number of templates that Breeze provides. And I just want to show you that before. So you want something simple, you could add a logo. I just want the amount, the church name, and the start dates. You could do that. I saw one of the questions on there. Is there an option to not do itemized and just do a regular, just the amount? You could do that. So let me show you. Print. The dates are all set up. Print statements. And you scroll down. It's just going to give you something very, very simple. Now, we click on that, and I'm going to reload my template. I'm going to click save. And I pretty much have all the works in there. I have pledge summary, I have itemized, and it would look something like this. I have a page break. So when I'm going to print it, it's just going to print this on the first page and this on the second page, and everything itemized. And that's the beauty of Breeze statements. It allows you to customize it as much as you want. The other thing I wanted to provide, it's the different type of mail merges you have. You could do an itemized list. You could do a total amount, fund summary, pledge summary, and even non-tax deductible. So if you want to include everything, you could do that. And you would send that. Now on the email side of things, sort of the same steps. You would select the dates. You would select the pencil icon just to make sure this is what's being sent out. You would continue to compose, and then this would be the email that's going to be going out. And then the giving statement will be attached. And so if you click on that, it'll give you a preview of that giving statement. And see, it's the first page and the second page on there. That's the way I have it set up. And you're able to see the different giving statements. This donor had a lot. Awesome. One of the questions we get asked a lot is how do I find out who's giving or who's not given throughout the year? And one of the best ways to find out, the statements you send out when you print or email are sending statements to people that have given. So if you have people that have not given throughout the year, there's no report to generate. So Breeze will not send them something, but there is a way to be able to get a list of the people that have not received or have not given to your organization. Just show you that quickly. And so if you come over to giving reports, if you put in the dates, there's going to be a graph icon here. And if you click on that, it's going to give you some real nice graphs with some great information. But if you scroll all the way down, it's going to give you a givers versus non-givers. You could do this by individuals. And this graph will give me a list of all the people that have not given. And so this is great if you want to email them, send them a letter, send them a text. You could put them in a specific tag for you to do follow-up with them later on. So this is a great resource to be able to see who hasn't given, who needs to be followed up with. And let me come over to giving again and statements. And one last feature before we go to questions and answers. I see the questions coming in. So what some churches do, or a lot of churches actually do, is they would email to all donors, continue to compose. And this is a great feature because then if you come over to print, you do have the option to donors without email addresses. So you wouldn't have to print your whole database. For givers, if they've already received something via email, you're going to be able to just print me the ones without email addresses, and we'll have those printed and we'll email those or mail those out. So That's a little bit of the demo I wanted to give in regards to how to generate statements. Let us know. I know there's some questions coming in, and so we'll start asking or answering those. But if you have any questions or comments, please let us know, and we will try to answer those as quickly as possible.
All
So
right, thank
let's.
you.
Mhm.
Great job. Just a reminder as we start this Q&A time, for you guys, if you have questions, please keep putting them in the Q&A box rather than the chat. I saw a few in the chat, but I think you may have also put them in the Q&A. So just put them in the Q&A if you need them answered, and that's what we're going to be looking at as we start answering these questions. Okay, Drew, if you don't mind, I'll start giving you some of these live for us to talk through these
Yes,
answers.
that'll work.
Okay, great. So one question is, how can we print envelopes for the tax statements instead of labels?
That is a great question. Yeah, it's only going to give you the option to do mailing labels. You may have to, and I believe that was Nora. Nora, I will have to get back to you on that one, or if you could write into support to be able to print out envelopes. Because the only thing I am thinking here is coming over to envelopes and being able to download this as an Excel of all of your envelope numbers. But our support team will be able to assist you with that one there.
Them. And Drew, I think you may have talked about this, but how can you attach a letter to their giving statement? Would that be one of the templates?
Yes.
Mhm.
So make sure I have states. Yeah, set here. So you would click on email, continue to
Mhm.
compose, and then you should have the option to either insert a link, and you could insert a link. Actually, it's not going to allow you to. I think because the statement is already an attachment onto the email, it's not going to allow you to attach another a letter. So what some churches do is they would copy that information on the letter and they would paste it on the email itself. If that's not an option, another option would be to have that letter somewhere like on a Google Drive and grab that link to the letter and then insert that letter within the box of the email.
We have a lot of questions, so we may not get to all of these. So I'm going to try to pick some that I've seen multiple times. So
Yes.
let's see. Um, can we
Oh,
pick certain funds for the statement and leave out others? We have many non-deductible gifts. I saw several questions similar to this.
let me pull up. Sorry, my window just. Great.
I think Walter's working on that. I think this is going to be based on the funds that you have that are set up as tax deductible. If I'm not mistaken, Drew, is that right?
There you go. Sorry, guys. What was the question again? Sorry about.
Can we pick certain funds for the statement and leave out others? We have many non-deductible gifts.
Yes, you can. You would come over to print and you could actually customize the fund that you're putting or pulling from the itemized.
Mm.
Let me pull that up. I think I had it here. But you could, and I could send our support team could actually send that in, but you could actually customize the itemized to pull from a specific fund. You could actually have it just show the amount and the fund that it's pulling from. So it doesn't have to be all the funds that are that person gave for the year, but you could pull from a specific fund and it would be controlled by the mail merge and customizing the mail merge. And we actually have a code for that within our help articles. So if you could write into support, we'll be able to provide you that information.
Great. Um, Next question. Can you talk a little bit more about archived people and how that may play into this?
Yes, great question. So like any church, you usually archive certain people. Maybe they showed up, maybe they were a part of your church and they moved to another state and they're no longer there. Maybe for some of them, they've passed away throughout the year and they gave in within that year. So anyone that's given within 2024 will receive a statement regardless of their status, whether they're archived or not archived, they will receive a statement. But one of the things we do recommend, especially with deceased members, is if they have a living family member within the church, is to pass on those state or those giving the gifts over to someone in their family. But if that's not an option, which we do see a lot, is it's archiving them and they're still going to receive a statement.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, next question. We talked about how when you're printing, we can choose to just print for those who don't have an email address. This
Mhm.
person is asking, is there a way when you're like in the email flow to like go ahead and choose to automatically print for everyone who doesn't have an email address? But it seems like there are
No,
two different steps.
they're going to be two different steps. The
Mhm.
email will send out the emails to everyone, and then, but it doesn't give you an option to be able to just print automatically. That would be a
Okay,
good feature request down
okay,
the line.
awesome. I think I saw another question similar to that, but we have a long list, so we will get to it maybe
Oh,
eventually.
no. Okay.
No, that's okay. We're doing great. I love the engagement here. It's awesome. Okay, Drew, question for you. When printing the whole batch of statements, can it be front and back printing? So on the paper that it's printing on, can you print front and back without getting the next person on the back? So let's say one donor had 3 pages worth of their statement. If you're printing front and back, is there a way to allow for that so that it kind of separates that up to allow for front and back printing?
Is that, I believe that would have to be a setting within, let me pull it up here.
Mm.
I want to say that's going to be a setting for, no, I don't see it here.
Yeah, I was
If,
gonna say I do
if,
think it's a print setting, but I don't think there's further settings within the statement area to allow for like a blank space, like a blank page in between for front and back.
right. Melissa, I would, if you could write into support, because I've seen that question before and just want to make sure you're taken care of. I will mention that I did, some of the tickets I did see come in is that when they're printing out statements, they have their headers and footers set up.
Mm.
And if you have that actually clicked, it's going to give you this gibberish URL at the bottom and it's going to give you the time and date on the top, which is, yeah, the best way to do that is to make sure it's unchecked headers and footers.
That's a great tip. Okay, we talked a little bit more about archives. Drew, can you talk a little bit more about the association, kind of back to that first step of like making sure our data is correct and making sure transactions are associated?
Yes. So let me come over to giving and online giving. So when someone gives to your organization, for instance, and let me see a profile I have here. Um, Raw Bow. So let's say Raw Bow gave, he was in a hurry, he sent in $100 donation, and instead of writing his name on the donation, Raw Bow, he wrote R Bow. You and I, as administrators, know that donation belongs to Rob, but Breeze doesn't recognize that. And so because Breeze doesn't recognize that, it goes into this tab called associations. And it's going to tell you this amount came in, we don't recognize the name. And so when your online givers give, if the name is not matching or the email address that they use is not matching to their profile, it's going to go in on this tab. The money's still going to be there. Your bank is still going to receive the money. But when you go over to batches, it's going to show up as anonymous. And so you're not going to, the Rob Bell is not going to get credit for that until the association is made. So hopefully that brings some clarity. So again, you just want to come over to associations, and let me see if I have one. No, but these are all associated already. But it would show you their name, and the minute you start typing in his name, you would be able to just associate it, and it's that quick.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. Next question. I have a feeling this may be something that would be good to partner with our support team on, but we'll go ahead and ask it. Just see. So the printing settings and alignment the printing settings and alignment change when I change to a different template. Shouldn't I be able to switch templates without having to reset the alignment? Is that expected, Drew?
No. And that would probably, yeah, because nothing, I mean, I come over, let me show you what I do. When I come over to a different template, everything is still aligned the same way, unless you have a specific, box set up or certain things for that template, but everything should continue being. And it might be something that we just have to troubleshoot from the support side and make sure everything's set up. But you should be able to move through the templates without any issues. Whatever the template is, you should continue to be able to see everything aligned.
Okay, great. Let's see. This is a good question. I think I saw a few similar to this. How do you query members that want a printed statement from those who want email? Some who want printed do have an email address. So we talked about how you can those who don't have an email. Is there any way that you can further like narrow that down like in a filtering sense?
Yeah, probably the best way, because if you're going to do emails, it's going to do all donors. And then if you do specific people, it's going to tell you to go to their individual page. But if you have a number of people that have an email address, and let's say you have 10 people who have an email address, but they just don't want an email, they want it printed, probably the best way to do this would be creating a tag for that specific group of people. Come over to tags. Does not email statements, and you would click add, and then you would just and I'm just going to go through this just to show you guys. So Tim Keller and Kendrick do not want emailed statements. So the best way to do this would be coming over or want emailed statements. You would click on giving, and okay, click on reports. I know, and I'm out in California, so we have some crazy winds right now. So you would come to giving, you would click on reports, you would select the dates. If you come over to more, you would select people, and then you would click on people, you would set a filter, and you would click contains, and you would select that specific tag. And so now I could come over to this area here, and I could print a statement for just those two individuals.
That's awesome.
And so I have Kendrick's information there, and then I have Tim's somewhere at the bottom. But
Okay.
that's the best way.
Yeah, thank you. That was such a good walkthrough. Appreciate it. Okay, here's a question. Can the template work area be full screen? You make that template area larger.
Currently that would be, this would be the window, that you have to work with.
Cool. Next question. How can you insert or change the signature? This is a good example because I saw a few signatures in your templates there, Drew.
I'm like, I did. Let me take a look. Mm. Oh, I think I remember it. Yeah. So and I believe we have a step-by-step directions on how to do this. If not, uh, I created a Word document, or I think I copied my signature, saved it onto my computer, or took a picture of it, put it on my computer, and then just crop that out. And this is really just a photo. So
Mhm.
I just created a quick signature. And once you do that, you come over to upload and you would choose that file, and then you would bring that file in. So, but yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
This one, I'm breaking my own rule, but I saw this in chat and I know the answer to this one, so I'm going to answer it really quickly. Can you send an email statement to just one person? For some reason, I feel like you couldn't do this from the screen. You would actually do that from their profile,
Mhm.
people, and then the giving area of their profile. Is that right, Drew?
Yes, you would come over to giving and you would select the dates here, and then you would select print statement or email statement for
Mm,
just one individual.
perfect. Okay. Next question. How can you make sure that the stock gifts are not included in these statements? I think that would come to like, maybe would that have to do with funds, Drew?
Yes, so you want to make sure you guys create a fund for non-tax deductible gifts like that. So I see that we see this a lot with stocks. We see this a lot with if you guys are selling books or T-shirts or someone paid for camp. A lot of these, yet you would have to create a fund. And so, for instance, let's say resources. And if you click on more, you would just uncheck this and add. And so any of these funds that have this little suitcase on there, uh, any money that goes in there will not show up on your statements unless you want to show that in your statements. So that way, if someone's giving a bugs or for camps, that information will be there.
Awesome. Okay. Is there a place to see or edit the templates outside of this sending workflow that we've talked through?
No, the best place to see them would be there.
Perfect. Can giving statements include information about pledges?
Yes, they can. So, for instance, this area here, I have a pledge summary. And you could either do pledge summary, or I believe you could also you could customize the pledge summary to have um, to include the pledge summary gives you sort of a total and the percentage of what was given. Sometimes people don't want to show the percentage, they just want the amount that was given. So you could also do that and customize that. Our support team will be able to provide you how to customize that information. But yes, to answer your questions, you could include pledges with your itemized giving too.
Okay, awesome. Um, it's kind of similar to the signature is how do you add a logo and then resize it? That would be basically how Drew
Yeah,
added the signature image, right?
yes. So let me show you. I'm right here. I come over to upload, choose a file. I have this logo here, Cedar logo. And depending on the size of the image, it's going to be something huge like this. And so what you want to do is just click on it. And on the left-hand corner, just begin to make it as small as you want. And depending on where you want the logo, you could align center to the right. Just depends for you to customize the way you need to.
Okay. This is a good question. This person says, I was playing with the templates and noticed that I could not remove columns that I felt like we didn't need on the statements. For example, donor name. Is there any way that I can remove columns? And then also, is it possible to download to Excel or Word?
You could remove the columns. There's certain, let me see if I could find it here. Yeah, there's mail merge options where you could actually have it itemized and you could just have the date, the envelope, and the amount. You could have the date, fund. So you would actually have to enter, let me copy this here just to show you. So let's say, let's do this other template here. And right now I have itemized, but I want to do itemized date, envelope, and amount. So if I click save, and let me just enter the correct dates. Print statement. There you go. So Maribel, for my itemized list, I have, if she had an envelope number, it would show up there, but it just has the date and the amount. So you could customize it, and there's a few other options. And here you go again, dates and envelope and amount. So yes, you could customize that. And yeah, if you write into our support team, and actually, let me actually just drop this article. I'm going to drop a link on the chat of where all our help articles are for statements, which I think will be very helpful for you guys.
Perfect. And then along with that question, is it possible to download to Excel or Word? So I guess that would be like
the statements, or
yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe they
because
should let us know
no,
and support.
yeah, you could save it as a PDF, but I don't think.
I do
Yeah.
think like for like an individual, for example, you could download their contributions to Excel. Or
Yes.
like looking at a report, you could download that to Excel.
If
Maybe
you're,
that's
if
what
you,
they meant.
yeah, maybe it could be giving reports, and yes, you
Mhm.
could enter the dates for last year. Do that quickly. And you could download all of your giving information for last year as Excel. So if you're looking to do that, yes, that is an option.
Okay, cool. Let's see. For some reason, the amounts don't populate in my statement templates, although the names and addresses merge correctly. All donations are in the individual's profiles, they just don't show up in statements. Is there something missing? Drew, is this probably something to work with support on?
Yes, to be able to troubleshoot. One of the things I do see a lot of, especially with pledges, is, for instance, if I come over to my pledges and if I look at 2024, the pledges have a start date and an end date. And this is all customized by the church, by administrators. And so a lot of times, a lot of the tickets I do see is I'm looking at Marie's giving, and on her profile is showing that she paid her pledge or she gave for her pledge, but on the statements it's not printing out. And depending on when she gave that date, when she gave that donation, if it was outside of the dates, it's not going to show up on the pledge summary. So in those cases, for instance, Kendrick has $5,000 pledged, but he did, if we look at his giving, he made $1,000 pledge to the 2024 pledge, but it's not showing up as recorded on his pledge. And it's because of the date, January 1st. So he gave it after those dates. So what needs to happen is you need to click on that gift, click edit, and actually take that back. Sorry. Come over to pledges. And we're going to click on that pledge. And we're just going to make the end date of whenever that person gave. Want to make sure it's being pulled from the right fund. And now it's recorded. And so we do see that a lot. A lot of tickets come in about that. And you just want to make sure the dates are set up correctly.
Cool. Okay, great. But yeah, and if you have additional questions about your specific situation, please write into our support team. We'd be happy to work with you directly on that. Okay, next question. If you group by family, will it send to all emails in the family or just one?
Great question. It's going to send to, actually, I will have to get back to you on that one, Stephen. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one, Stephen.
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, next question. Can you print the notes that were typed into the note section on individual statements? So I'm guessing, is that like, are the notes possible to be included in the mail merge, or something like that?
Yes. And I think that's part of the itemized
Okay.
list. Yeah. So you could itemize to include the notes as part of the column or one of the columns.
Okay. Awesome. See here. Could you describe the kitchen sink? So we've touched on that a little bit. It's one of the templates, but Drew, can you maybe just show us what that kitchen
Yeah.
state template looks like and what it includes?
Let's come over to print and 24. Template, and the kitchen sink is pretty much everything you could ask for would be on there. So you have the name, the church name, you have the list of tax deductible contributions, the fund summary, the pledge summary, and a little bit of everything. And so let me show you how it looks here. Print statement. And so it'll just give you a breakdown of everything. Let me see if I have someone with pledges. Yes, it'll show you the pledge, 94%. So it just gives you, just depending on the type of church. There's some churches that just want something simple and just how much did that person give. And there's others that just want to be able to provide their donors a list of everything they gave throughout the year. And so the kitchen sink template would be perfect for that because it already has everything set up for you. You just need to go in there and just customize it with your own verbiage and logo, and you'll be good to go.
Awesome. Okay, I think this is going to be our last question for now. So you guys hang on if this isn't your question because I've got more to share with you. But Drew, last question for now. If I email statements, can I see a PDF of what went out?
Yes, great question, actually. I think I've
And
seen a
actually,
few
this
of
kind of
those.
goes side by side of another question that I saw. So we'll make this like a little bonus of like a double question. Is also, can you tell if someone opened their email of the statement that they got?
Yes. So a few things. I would recommend, I recommend a church having sort of like a generic uh, church email to be able to send those emails out because the history of your emails is only user specific. So if I send out the emails out, Bethany wouldn't be able to go to history and see the emails that were sent out because they weren't sent under Bethany's name. They were sent under my name. But once those emails get sent out, you should be able to come over to settings, come over to history. And then if you click on email, it's going to give you a list of all the emails that have been sent out. So the emails will be there. And then if you click on it, you'll be able to see the body of the message, how many of them were delivered, and you're able to see who opened it. So it's great. And you could also see which ones didn't go because, invalid email address or it bounced for different reasons. So the history portion of things, it's perfect. because you're able to see who received it, who opened it, why didn't they receive it. All that information would be there.
Awesome. Thank you, Drew. I am
Mhm.
going to take back sharing just to wrap us up a little bit here. Um, okay, let's see. So we might have answered some of these questions already, but Drew, do you want to hit any of these other FAQs as we wrap up?
Yeah. Donations are missing from my statements. Where are they? Yeah. So double check your giving funds are set up for tax deductible. If that doesn't work, contact support. I think I touched on that. When I generate statements, does it automatically send? No, you must choose to either email or print all. Is there a way to see a status of what statements have been sent via email? We actually, yeah, provided that information. One of the questions we do get asked a lot, especially from our Canadian churches, is our tax statement CRA compliant? Yes, we have worked extensively with the CRA to ensure compliance. And then go to the next one. Or I think that was it.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Um, okay, well, cool. Thank you guys so much. I know we did not get to all of your questions, but thank you for those of you who were sharing them. If we didn't get to your question or if you have more questions from here, please reach out to us. Support at Tithely or support at Breeze CHMS. And you can work with our amazing support team. They are so ready to partner with all of you guys and help you as you prepare your tax statements and send them. And you're in great hands with our support team. So please reach out to us and let us know how we can help. Also, make sure to check out our Facebook groups. You can search for Tithely or Breeze user groups on Facebook and jump in and join the conversation. We would love to see you there. And then as a reminder, this webinar was recorded. You will receive a link to that recording after this to the email address that you registered with. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you, Drew, for your wealth of knowledge and everything that you shared as far as tax statements go. We're so excited for you guys and your churches during this season, and we're just here to partner with you. Be sure to check out that last link that Drew sent for all of our knowledge-based resources on Breeze tax statements. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Take care, guys.
Bye.